and gentlemen, we are back. The Donttap podcast, man. You know, we came in and out, spotty in and out for about a year while I was producing for another podcast. The Darce podcast closed its doors, and I came running back to Billy. No, for the real thing is I actually have time to be able to dial in here, and with the focus that I'm shifting now, I'm going to be able to just keep Donttap podcast as my focus moving forward. And I really want to turn it into something for everybody and create a community. And in doing so, the things that I learned producing the Darce podcast over the last almost 2 years was, you know, you got to get a live community. You've got to create that chat. It's so important. You can't just sort of be hiding in the background, editing and sort of expecting to grow something. You can't really do that way. So we'll be opening on a new channel. I'll be setting that. And I'm looking really forward to the future, man. So we'll have Billy set up to be coming on the podcast as usual. You know, he's the unofficial, official, you know, co-host of the show that will jump on and you know, come in, you know, as much as possible. I know that you're really busy with Pub Sports Radio, but talk to me. It's been a little bit of time. How the hell you been, brother?
I've been good, man. I mean, we've been sticking and jabbing. I mean, it's been I feel like hopefully these episodes can prove that I've evolutionized myself in MMA betting a little bit more. You know, as we always get older, we get wiser. And it felt like we're just on the cusp of really reaching something, because I remember we started doing the episodes right before I went down to San Antonio. And I believe the San Antonio one was like one of the last episodes that we did. And I felt like we're just starting to dial in when we started you started including some AI stuff. We started attacking props and stuff like that. So I'm glad to kind of combine and collaborate. You've learned a lot. I learned a lot. And the torch, we still burn the torch for good old Nick.
Yeah, I got to talk MMA, man. And I did some, you know, guest appearances on the Darce stuff. Yeah, man, I just think that, you know, what we'll do week in and week out, we'll break down two of our best top spots. We'll hit the main event. Unless we really don't want to make the main event a pick, we can still talk about the main event, and then we'll hit 3 top spots if you guys want. At the end of the show, we'll go over the scramble, and what that will become on the live is that'll be sort of put to the chat, and what me and Billy want to maybe talk about too. Any of those fights that sort of fall off the table that we want to sort of talk about. And then we'll build a parlay or agree on a prop or something at the end that will be our solidified collaboration play that you'll be able to find online as well too. That's loosely how the show is going to go. I'm pretty well. That's really what I want, but I want to hear from everybody and get some feedback as well too. But you know what? Without we talked way too much already. Let's just get into these fights. Let's find a spot we disagree on so we can argue that shit. But anyways, I'm going to start. Actually, you know what? No, you know what? I can't. I'm going to defer to the guest. Billy, bring me your top spot, and you can start with your top spot. I'll make my top spot the second, because we sort of know how that'll play out. The second round, sorry.
Round one here, as Cal would say. I usually try to start off round ones with prop of the night, and prop of the night for me is Edmen Shahbazyan by knockout. I like the spot here against Andre Muniz. Granted, he went towards decision against Andre Petroski in his last fight, but I think Edmen's starting to evolutionize his game, improving the cardio, improving the takedown defense. I think he can find the chin of Muniz. You know, there's a history of Edmen busting at chalk price tags in the past, but if we're getting plus money on Edmen by knockout, I think this is going to look a lot different than his last fight. That was his first decision win of his whole entire career. Edmen is finished or to be finished, and I think he finishes Andre Muniz. I'm not too high on the grappling of Andre Muniz. Granted, I can definitely see him. He's submission or bust. You know, that's the kind of the matchup that we're getting, and I'm going to chase the plus money angle on Edmen Shahbazyan by knockout.
And I'm going to back you in that one. So we are going to go with Shahbazyan as the first round. Shahbazyan is actually my top play. He's going to be a parlay piece for me, so he's my first leg of my own personal parlay that I'm going to be putting out. On top of that, I'm with him by KO as well too. I just think that Muniz has been KO'd 2 out of his last 3 fights, right? So that's the first thing we look at. The next thing we look at, he took down Park 11 times, but Park got up 10, right? So, I mean, or 11 times, whatever the hell it was. So the bottom line is he was getting up nonstop. So now take that idea, apply it to Shahbazyan, who has some decent grappling that's evolved over the years. He's been able to work off the cage and get things going. So if he gets to space even 3-4 times throughout this fight, how does that look? It's not even close on the feet. Shabazian's going to tag him out and knock him out. But I like the parlay. For me, is sort of an extra cap. Does go to the decision. It's just Shabazian piecing him up for 3 rounds. Then I'll take that too. And I only win 1, but I do like the KO too. I think it's a good double down. I've been waiting to fade Muniz in every spot I possibly can. Last one, I cashed huge off it. That's the one that we wanted to look at. Fading Muniz by KO is the way to go. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I just think that another thing too, if you look at the volume, Shabazian has him slightly. Even Shabazian's a little bit lower volume. He's measured in his strikes, 3.74 per minute. But if you look at Muniz, he's 2.04. He's low volume. His takedowns are weak. His stash is trash, and his beard is weird. We're gonna call it a night. We're going to go with Edmund Shabazian, parlay Edmund Shabazian for Billy and me, and that might end up just being our collab play, but we'll see by KO.
Sounds good to me. I mean, what are you looking at here for round 2? Because I kind of, it's all good and glamorous. We haven't done a show in a while, so we end up agreeing on a top spot without even talking to each other about it, by the way.
Well, I'm going to bring you it's sort of – people might give me shit for this one, but it's the first fight of the night. It's the biggest line of the night. But we're looking at Veronica Hardy and Brogan Walker to go over 2.5 rounds. So if you can get that's sort of the play for me. I think you get Veronica Hardy parlayed. That fight, it's likely going to be Veronica just sort of stays off the cage. Walker tries to drag her down. Veronica's just – it's a huge level check, we'll call it. I always call it a level check. It's a huge level check. Sorry, I'm dusting off the rust, guys. Dusting off the rust. But the reality is with Hardy, she's got her beat on the feet. She's slick with the grappling now. That's come a long way. And I think that she can get off the ground away from the, black belt in Brogan Walker, and who has strong wrestling as well, too. But she's been away for 2 years. And what do we say about people who have been away? If you're not young and you haven't been working, then you're not progressing. It's just not going to work for me. She's like 36, 37 years old. And I think Brogan Walker is just going to get tagged up, like pieced up. This could end inside the distance, but I highly doubt it. It's probably goes to distance with a 3-1 volume and striking. Veronica Hardy by decision handily. But I'll just take the over because there's so much chalk. Veronica Hardy right now by decision is minus 220 or some shit.
Yeah, I'm not
so I'll take the over, parlayed with Edmund Shabazian and cash a parlay nice and early.
I like it. My spot here that I'm going to go with for the double chance for round 2 here is going to be Austin Vanderford, a.k.a. Mr. Van Zant, by submission or decision, fighting Ramiz Brahimaj. And we kind of know what the Brahimaj story is. He's going to come out hot in round 1, and if he doesn't get you out of there in round 1 by sub, then he's kind of going to end up quitting on himself. And Austin Vanderford, if there's one thing I know about him, he isn't going to quit on himself. I mean, this is kind of like my wheelhouse here, betting on fighters from other organizations that people may be undervaluing. Granted, we don't get the Austin Vanderford at plus money. Now he's minus 300, but I think it's a good parlay spot for him. I think Vanderford weathers the early storm in round 1, ends up turning the tides of the fight. I think he's a better grappler, better striker here. And this is Austin Vanderford all day. Shouts to Mr. Van Zant.
Yeah, this is one where, like, with Austin Vanderford, I'm trying to wait for that time to fade him, and this is not the time. Brahimaj is going to rely on either landing a big sort of sloppy shot and or, getting to that grappling, because all he has is those big sort of sloppy shots with his hands that he usually gets to get to his grappling. He wants to get those submissions, but he's not going to be the stronger guy in this fight. He's not going to be also the better. I mean, the better. If you look at the better grappling, you got the wrestling actually side of Vanderford. You want to look at the wrestling side of things always. If you have BJJ versus grappling or versus wrestling, you take the wrestling. And especially when the wrestler is a strong, dominant wrestler that lands bombs. And he doesn't really want to waste his opportunity in the UFC. So he's going to go for broke. He already feels like he's been to the bottom of the barrel. Like he went up to the top in Bellator, thought it was going to go somewhere, and never did. He got his story broken by Mr. Aaron Jeffrey. And then, just right there. Pointing a Canadian flag for anybody listening in audio. So, I mean, I like the spot. I think it makes sense. I think it's just a styles makes fights. And they're sort of setting Vanderford up to maybe, become something that they can use probably as a piece later, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know about Vanderford touching the belt and shit like that. But if they're going to giving these raggedy-ass opponents, then I'm going to take advantage of it. I mean, I was astonished that he came in at plus money against Nikolai Vakhritinov in Seattle a couple months ago, or in February.
He's got a big social media following. His wife has a big social media following. There's the narrative. It's a setup fight. It's a perfectly set up fight for Vanderford to win. I think it's a good spot. I think it makes sense. But I just putting money near Vanderford scares me, but I fully get it, and I may have to tail.
So we move on to round 3?
We move on to round 3, and what we're going to do, we're going to go to the main event of the evening, and we're going to dig into a matchup between two fighters that have already seen each other. We have Poatan going up against Big Ank. We have Ankalaev, who, man, he's just he's like watching wet paint sometimes in the cage, and you want to see more. And it's more because you want to see more from him because you know he's more capable to, put combinations together, put guys out. But for the most part, this guy just he lands light combinations. He looks for that decision. He's going to grind you on the cage. And I have a double play on this, actually, for the main event. I want to just jump right out ahead of you on this one. First, I want to look at a number for you guys and break down some numbers for you guys. We have Poatan, who in all of his fights, although everybody talks about the leg kick, it's the deal. He has, in 1 second, I'll pull up the notes here. And it's fine if I have to pause it. No, I got it right here. So in the percentage of his fights, hunting for the head, okay? Against Jan Blachowicz, who was supposed to get to the wrestling, he opted 78% of his strikes landed to the head. Yuri Prohaska, 60%. Jamal Hill, 50%. Yuri Prohaska, again, 55%. Khalil Roundtree, 72%. We know why. Khalil was really down to get punched in the face in that fight. But then we go to Ankalaev. Now, this could be a credit to Ankalaev's. Well, I know one thing that it is. It's a threat to his takedown. And it's not because Ankalaev is so amazing in striking. He has this illusion that he's going to take you down. But his takedowns are 22%. He went 0 for 12 against Poatan in the last fight. And Poatan didn't even come close to landing for the head. So I just want you to walk these ideas through. If he shoots again for takedowns and doesn't get them, hell, even if he does get one, I don't see him submitting him. So Poatan gets back up again. If Poatan even changes that percentage by a little bit and throws the volume, actually starts putting together and extending his combinations a little bit, landing 2-punch combinations, man, this is like a guy who's, the guy that wants to save everybody that's in the burning house. You run in the burning house, you save the first kid. You probably go in the next house, your percentage of winning, it goes down. And this is one of those cases where I know the numbers go against people who are returning champions that want to come back and title challengers and get that belt back. I know that people are question marks about Poatan, and is he really serious? He says he is, but is he? Man, is he? Get it? No, is he? No, dad. See, I'm a dad, right? So I got to, anyway. All I'm saying is we have a guy whose KO right now is sitting around plus 280, plus 300, and that's likely how he wins. And then we have another way we look at this. I'm going to take an over 3.5 at DraftKings, minus 165, because if it goes over 3.5, it's likely an Ankalaev win because he grinded out a win. But you know what? Poatan could have landed some big shots with higher volume, and it goes to decision. He wins the belt too. So I went on the over, and I don't see Ankalaev finishing him inside the distance. If he does, it's going to be really late. This is sort of a narrative, like I'm sort of playing it out in my head. I like the KO. I think there's value on the KO right now. I wanted to play it with a slight hedge, double down. I like to do. It's not a full hedge. It's a hedge, and being cheeky with the double down on it because I might hit both. So I'll take that play. I like it. It's a plus 300 roughly. I mean, it may dwindle. I don't know, but for KO from Poatan, I just think that if he even throws his hands a little bit more, he was like throwing. I remember watching it. I have show notes on it, so I have live show notes that I wrote. Poatan, and I already said he needs to extend his combinations, throw out, just believe in his hands and bait the counter. He wasn't even getting it. You saw Ankalaev closing distance at times. He was throwing combinations. He wasn't even trying to put together any counters. It was rough to watch. The last thing too, when the clinch does come, uppercuts. He's so powerful. Those tight uppercuts that you I can't remember who it was in the last UFC that was just throwing tight uppercuts nonstop. I think it's Jimmy Crute. But anyways. Yeah, Poatan, I think there's value on the KO. I think that everybody just sort of forgot and think that it's over. And I think there's too much value there. Normally, I would go with the wrestler in this situation. I would go with the champ in this situation. But I just think that with someone with lights out power like this before running on too long, the value's on the KO, and then just hit it over. Because if Ankalaev wins, you'll probably win that bet anyways. So I think it's a good hedge. What's your thoughts? And just give me your breakdown on the fight before you give me your thoughts on mine.
I like the bet. I personally kind of lean towards just the under in this fight, but to be honest with you, I think this is Ankalaev's fight to lose. I think Ankalaev's a better striker than Alex Poatan Pereira. To be honest with you, I really think Ankalaev is going to find a finish on Alex, and Alex is going to end up moving up to heavyweight like a year from now. Like when we break down Alex Pereira next fight, I think it's going to be at heavyweight. I don't think it's going to be at light heavyweight. I think that chapter's closing in on his life. And, you know, even though he went up to heavyweight from middleweight, still the weight cuts are pretty taxing on the body for Poatan. And I think the paydays are at heavyweight, not light heavyweight. I mean, I would imagine he could be fighting Derek Lewis and probably get paid more money than you know what I'm saying? Like, granted, this is a title fight, but like just talk about recognition, popularity. This isn't like a box seller type of fight. I think this is a fight more of Ankalaev kind of just keeping the belt. If you like the knockout prop on Poatan, I would just bet fight to end by knockout.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but then I lose the value on it. I don't see it. I think that even if the knockout prop misses, but I hit I think at least over 3.5 hits. But man, I think with Ankalaev, I think it was about 120. Like he was about, what was his total strikes? Anyways, I know he's going to probably out-volume him by about at least 30 to 40 more strikes likely by the end of it all, at least. And I know that for sure. And I know what you're saying about the cleaner striking. He can run more of even maybe more of an Adesanya type point system on the outside and really utilize his striking well, and even set it up with the fake of his good wrestling. I don't know what that's at really. Yeah, I don't know, man. I still think that Poatan wants it. I still think he wants to land and put people out. That's what he lives for. You know, that's what dragged him out of the shit. And the one thing too that is also at stake here is Poatan wins. When does he fight next, do you think?
I really don't think he wins, bro. This is a bad stylistic matchup for him. Like Sambo is a more superior mixed martial art than kickboxing, in my opinion, by like a wide.
So how many takedowns do you think that he has to stuff and then land shot?
I really don't think it's going to be takedowns. I think Ankalaev is just a better striker than Poatan.
So you don't think he can get to the chin?
I really don't. Like I think Ankalaev is really just like, he's just solid, man. Like he's 8.59 across the board. Like there's no chinks in the armor. The only chink in his armor is when he feels like he doesn't want to show up that night. But when he's on, man, he's on. Like you bring up granted, it's fucking Paul Craig, but like you remember the Paul Craig fight before he got submitted? Like the way he was just landing the combinations. Like there's so many different ways that Ankalaev, I feel like, could like win fights, and that's the reason why it ends up usually going to decisions in this.
And to your credit, I mean, we've already seen it, right? So we've already seen him outpoint him on the feet pretty much, and land volume, and then have a Poatan who didn't commit. If I'm sure you watched the fight back, but that is not the Alex Pereira that we've known to see. So I mean, if we see it again, and I'm in on the prop for KO and I miss, shit, you know, I think for me. But here's why I wouldn't go win by KO, because I lose the value, and I honestly don't see Ankalaev KOing him. Maybe he does, and that's great, but I don't see it, and I think it'll probably at least drag over before he does finish him. I think he could finish him late, maybe get him to the ground, even maybe submit him late. But I just think that the over is likely a good hedge situation. But I just feel silly for not taking a shot at this prop, because it's a huge anomaly if you look at his striking and how it was all measured last fight. And he looked off. Like watching him, he was off. And so he said he was at 40%. Cool, that's fine. I think it was more of he was worried about the takedown. He didn't want to let his hands go, which valid could be a thing again, but I highly doubt it. If you've already been in there and people say, oh, you know, Ankalaev's been in there. He knows the game plan. He knows the path. Well, sure. That's fine, but who benefits more? Does Pereira now benefit from being in there, knowing what he feels like, knowing what his strength is, knowing that he can actually keep it on the feet and actually now throw? Because if Pereira just goes for broke, knowing that if he loses this fight, no matter what, and has nothing to lose, man, I mean, you're right. He does have even a White House. This is what I was going to lead to, narrative. A White House card set up for heavyweight fight if he wants one. But he also has one with a belt around his waist in a trilogy, potentially with Ankalaev if he, lands big volume and wins by decision. I'm sorry, I think it could happen. I think that Ankalaev would out-volume him, but I think he could have moments. I don't know, man. I think it's possible, but I like the over, and I lean the over only because I'm with you on the Ankalaev likely winning, probably by decision or late finish. But I gotta sprinkle that KO value.
If you want the Ankalaev side, I think you attack it with the round 4 or by decision prop angle that they have on FanDuel. And then if you're on the Poton side and you kind of want to play it safe, I would bet scorecards no action here. Granted, I know you just made out the case for him winning a decision, but scorecards no action. Like if this hits the judges' scorecards and you just get your money back, I think you would be fine with that.
Yeah, I get it. We'll see. I'll take a look at the numbers and how they play out. I just always, on that second play, I always play so safe because crazy judges can do crazy things. And even if Ankalaev takes him down 2 or 3 times, out volumes him, crazy shit has happened with judges. And I don't want that to happen to me based on
what about the spread though? The spread bet has become a lot more popular. And if you don't,
I stayed away from that too. Cause even that, I've been sitting on the spread and the scorecards come up and I'm like,
if Poton doesn't get finished, I definitely think he picks up at least 2 rounds, like 1 to 2 rounds.
He should.
You know what I'm saying? Like if he doesn't, if you're on the Alex Poton side and you're listening to this and you don't think that he gets finished by Ankalaev and you think Ankalaev is going to go to decision, I bet the +5.5. I mean, I feel like that's a guarantee he gets at least 1 round at the 5.
And it's good we're talking it out because I do sort of see that it's going to come down to 1 round. Like they're going to be looking at 1 round, who won that round possibly, or how the last round really finished. Like we'll see. But yeah, I'm with you on that. That could be value on that. I've been staying away from the spread plays and even suggesting them because I got there was 2 or 3 in a row where the judges, I was like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? He clearly won that round. Anyway, so they burnt me a bit. I stayed away from them like a bad ex-girlfriend, but we'll see. All right, let's get into the scramble now. And actually, there's one more thing I wanted to show you on here too. Just a couple more things, just as far as so even the lines moved a little bit. A lot of people seeing what you're seeing. It's now sort of bouncing a little bit back and forth, but for the most part, Alex Pereira can be had for like +200. So everybody's on the side with Billy on that. And we'll see where it goes. I'm happy it's happening, and I'm looking forward to this one. So, okay, so the scramble. Now, really with this, it could be any fight you want to bring up that you want to talk about. I know that a lot of people want to talk about Merab and Corey Sandhagen. But at the same time, there's other ones on the card that are maybe a spot that you just think is a sneaky spot, or maybe a debutante coming into the UFC. What are you looking at here?
Oh, 100%. When you said scramble round, I just thought more of a same game parlay round. And one of the same game parlay ideas that I'm looking at is it comes in this body bags and a Boost Magomedov fight. I like Joe Pyfer a lot in this fight. Joe Pyfer to win and fight to start round 2. I like the Boost Magomedov story. We know what he does. He comes out here front loaded. If he doesn't have early takedown success, he ends up gassing out because he doesn't have enough cardio to strike on the feet for 15 minutes. I think body bags takes over the later portions of this fight. It's when Joe Pyfer gets into the 5-round fights, like the Jack Hermanson fights, where you got to question what the cardio looks like in the championship rounds. But as long as they're giving them 15-minute fights, I got Joe body bags win this fight all day against Boost Magomedov. It's one of the more reasonable price tags on the main card, and I think he gets his hand raised over Boost Magomedov. I think this is like at first you think about it and you're like, damn, a Boost Magomedov and he's -225. But the more that you look into the matchup and how one person plays his strengths compared to the other, Joe body bags got way more dog in him than a Boost Magomedov. Even if this does go south and it doesn't go as planned, I don't think the early takedown success happens for a Boost. So what is he going to be doing? Left on the feet, straighted, striking with Joe body bags? Body bags all day. I'm not going to put my neck out there and say body bags inside the distance and be super biased. No, I think Joe Pyfer has the ability to get a knockout in rounds 2 or 3, but he can also just win a decision like here. I wouldn't be shocked at all.
That scares me. Here's why. So I kid you not, I was putting together a graphic for Danny Brasco of CBS Sports. I put together his parlay. His parlay was Jamal Emmers and Joe Bodybags Pfeiffer. And I made this joke about them going to a taco stand and eating tacos. So in the thing, they're eating tacos. There's cheese falling out of the tacos. It looks like them. It's really good. I enjoyed it. And then I find out he's out of the fight due to food poisoning. At least that's what they called it, I believe. So he's out of his last fight, plus the time when he sort of...
That was 2 fights ago.
Was it 2 fights ago? And then before that, when he also blew his load in a fight, for me, it leaves me scared because then there's also on the other side, and the only reason why is Abus is sort of on a little bit of an upswing. And I know what you see in the matchup, but it's a little bit of a stay off for me.
I don't blame you. I mean, you're
just one of those things where I was marked. That's all. Like two things where I was scorned.
The East Coast Philadelphia bias in me. You know, Body Bags is a local fighter of ours. So I think it's just like, how do you plan out the Abus Magomedov decision? He's not a better wrestler than Joe Body Bags. Joe Body Bags has a Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu fucking black belt.
And he's just stronger too. He has the technique and the strength.
If you remember his last fight, it was against Kevin Gastelum. There was so many moments that he should have knocked him the fuck out of that fight, and Kevin kept on ratting himself towards the decision. Like, I just feel like when Joe fights, he builds as the fight goes along. He gets more confident as the fight goes along, and I don't feel the same with Abus. Abus does not get more confident as the fight goes along. It's like he needs to win the first 2 rounds and hang on for the 3rd round. Granted, he's on a 3-fight win streak, but all of the wins that he has are against people that he can take down and stuff like that. I really think the public is going to be surprised of how good the sprawling and anti-grappling of Joe Pfeiffer is. I mean, training with Sean Brady and the boys, Dean Thomas coming over down there in Philadelphia, one of the greater minds, I would say, in MMA. I mean, for the people that don't know, Dean Thomas was a long-time coach at American Top Team when American Top Team was at its peak. And then after the falling out of American Top Team after COVID, he ended up doing his own thing with Jillian Robertson and some cast members and stuff like that. And now he's down here in Philadelphia. And I think the Philadelphia boys have really benefited from having Dean Thomas really help them out with the game plans and stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to talk about Sean Brady too much because they're way different fighters, but look at Sean Brady's game plan that he went out there with Leon Edwards. I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're doing out of Philadelphia right now are very Dean Thomas focused and oriented, and he has one of the great minds for it. And I think this is a setup fight for Body Bags. I mean, who the fuck else has Dana White ever paid their whole entire year?
You stand up.
I'm just saying, who has Dana White ever paid somebody's year rent for when they got signed off the Dana White Contender Series? He's got a soft spot in his heart for Body Bags.
Yeah, look, I actually want to see this guy, even though sometimes he just should not. There should be a filter between his brain and his mouth. He shouldn't say just because he sort of says everything. It's almost like it's everything that comes out. I don't want to say it negatively because he would destroy me if I ever see him. Yeah, but you know my point. I see it. I see what you're saying, but I'm going to move into my spot, or at least the spot I want to talk about. We'll talk about Merab and Corey Sandhagen. I just want to pose a couple ideas to you. A lot of people would maybe want to see love on Sandhagen, and I got to tell you honestly, I'm a huge Sandhagen fan. Like, he's one of my favorite fighters. He's like probably the number one right now, and like out of current fighters, and he's able to stifle you by stance switches and overwhelming you with thinking about feints and doing all these things and making you think and making you like work within what he's putting out there. And it overloads your brain. And that's it, right? Then you're done, you're cooked. And then he's able to start to get to work. But against Merab doesn't fucking think. Like, Merab doesn't think. He moves forward. He throws punches. He attacks takedowns, and that's all he does relentlessly. And all I can see as I see this fight playing out is it's round 4. Corey Sandhagen's on the fence going, fuck, looking at the clock, trying to find his time. And I love that he's training with Trevor Whitman now, and I love that, he's always trying to evolve his game and the words that I heard this week. And I will still look at the KO prop because we have seen Merab fucking dropped. The only way that they can really win this is if he goes for a kill shot. Because if it's decision, it's likely going to be Merab ran the machine, ran the cardio, multiple takedowns, rinse, repeat, landing some big shots, having some moments on the fence. So yeah, I wanted to pose it to you to sort of see how you see the fight sort of playing out. Does Merab even finish him? Does Corey even have a shot at landing a big shot? It's interesting. If there was enough value on the KO, would you sprinkle it? Or could you attack this fight from different ways? Like, how are you looking at the co-main?
To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the betting perspective for the co-main and the main event. Just off the
I get it.
of like Merab Dvalishvili's minus 400. Granted, I think he wins the fight, but like at that point, like if I'm sitting at the co-main event and I'm up on some money from the stuff that we talked about earlier in the night, shit, I'm taking a dog shot on Corey Sandhagen. Like,
you know what would be good?
That could happen.
I'm sorry to say this. I want you to come back in. I hope people bet on Merab more. I hope the line goes really wide so I have room to bet live. So if you start seeing Corey land and he's starting to find his rhythm and it looks like Merab doesn't have the control that you think, there's room there. So anyway, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, like, you don't think so my first question is, do you think that Merab gets a submission if he gets dominant top position for a long duration period of time?
I think it could happen. I think if he gets a hold of a neck in a certain angle, it could happen 100%. I think that Sandhagen's got a pretty good close guard, a pretty good butterfly guard. He's able to really create space really well and get out of trouble. But Merab, I mean, he's done it to other guys too. I think that Sandhagen's actual ground game is probably better than Sean's though. Sean's has always been trumped up as it's sneaky good. Well, it really wasn't. So yeah, Sandhagen. I think that I don't know. It's possible.
So the reason why I asked that is because if Merab doesn't get a finish, I think Corey's cash is plus 5.5. I think he picks up at least one of these rounds via striking. It's kind of the way that I'm looking at it. Overs and Sandhagen by decision. I don't think he knocks out Merab. For him to win this fight, a lot of things would have to go his favor, but I definitely think you need less things to go his favor to cash a plus 5.5. If the line's already plus 280 on the money line, I would imagine the plus 5.5 is going to be somewhere between plus 100 and minus 115 or something like that. And at that point of entry, I'll get in on Corey Sandhagen and have like Merab and some degen parlays at that point of the night. But I'm kind of looking to end my parlays at Youssef Zalal for a side note. Like that's kind of where that
we can segue right into that one. I'm with you on that side. I like Zalal in that fight. As much as I want to be an alpha male guy, I'll just give a quick piece and you jump. I want to back Josh Emmett. I just think this isn't a good fight for him. It's not a good matchup for him. I think that on the feet, Zalal will be craftier and land the night. Like he lands damage, but he lands crafty damage, man. And then on the cage too, I think he has an advantage. And then on the mat, I think he's slick enough that he can counter any kind of dominant wrestling and I never usually say that. I don't think it's a good matchup for Emmett at all. And I don't know what the age gap is, but I think there might be one there. I haven't checked, but I think Zalal, if you're looking to end your parlay at a money line spot and not a time bet prop spot, which you could do with the main event, this would be the spot.
Yeah, I feel like this is Zalal kind of like all day in this spot, but it's one of those ones of like, how confident do you really want to be on somebody that you think is just going to win a 29-28 decision? Because I think this screams 29-28 decision, if not even 30-27. So it's like one of those type of fights of like, usually when you want to parlay somebody, you kind of want a little bit of finishing upside just to make the fight a little bit quicker than what you want it to be. But you can run yourself into some Jake Matthews spots like I did last week.
Well, okay, you know what? That's how we're going to end the show. Fuck a parlay, fuck a prop. I want to talk about this spot because that was my hammer spot of the week last week. I've been putting out Donttap slideshows with my spots of the week. So I had a Jake Matthews set up with Jake Matthews and the main event to end inside the distance. So I had Jake Matthews to win inside the distance, and then I had a parlay of Jake Matthews with the main event to go to not finish inside the distance or whatever it was. Both would have cashed. Okay, so here's my thing. I don't give a fuck if Magny went out. I don't care. The referee stopped it because he thought Magny went out. So if he stopped it because he thought Magny went out, then that's it. You can't just be like, no. Like if you jump off the cruise ship, you can't be like, no, I'm going to jump. No, you jumped off the fucking cruise ship, dude. Right? Because that's how that works. So for all of you that are arguing the point, you're arguing the wrong point. If Magny was creating room, possible. He's dumb for doing it that way, knowing that he probably would get called. So that's stupid of him to drop his arm like that. Next, if he did go out, then we were right. Like, I just think the kid got ripped off. He was on a streak. He's been, he was dubbed this kid who was, he wasn't very good. He was washy up and down in the UFC, and he's on a 4-fight win streak, and you take it away from him from a stupid play because he would have ended up probably finishing that fight.
I think the craziest part is to like the public naked eye, like maybe like a casual UFC bettor. They're like, oh, Jake Matthews is at it again. He's busting that price tag, gassing out the Neil Magny. But if for like the real MMA bro knowers that like know how fights work and how they're supposed to be like judged and refereed, what the fuck kind of referee performance is out of like, bro, you called the fight, man. Like, you talk about the highest adrenaline dump to the lowest of like, oh shit, we're still fighting. Like, what? Like, he was still thinking about that throughout the rest of the fight, that I'd already finished this guy. Like, I think the real ball knowers know that, like, bro, that's the most bullshit raggedy referee job I've seen in a minute in a fight.
Like, if I'm a referee, I would start the next round in that position if I called it up and we went back to that and I knew I fucked up, because like Matthews was on the choke, and we've learned now his jiu-jitsu is really good. And especially with his chokes, he has a lot of different grips. He's able to angle the chokes from so many different spots. And so the danger level when he's on top, people don't understand that level of jiu-jitsu. It's like there's a higher danger level for him to get a submission because he knows so many different levels of chokes, so he can get them from so many angles. He got robbed in that. I don't care what anybody says, because if you continue the fight, he does an adrenaline dump, and I don't think he gets magnied, man. I really don't. Like, ask any fighter you may have talked to, or any fighter you guys know, anybody watching who's go to your fucking local MMA gym and ask them what it's like to find out you won, and then all of a sudden have to get back in with the guy who fucking breaks people. You got to go back. It's like fighting a crackhead. He always keeps getting up. I don't know.
It's just crazy. We're still dealing with these type of problems in MMA in 2025 of like, man, I shouts to people that catch the Magny shit and all that. That shit's all cool. But man, we got to crack down on MMA judging and refereeing.
Another thing I'll say, one more thing about MMA reffing. If a guy's on the ground and there's an up kick or something funny that happens in a dominant position, you give him that position back when we get back to it. You don't just stand them up and going. If somebody worked to a dominant position and has that position, earned it, you let him have that position. You don't take it away from him at minimum. If you're not going to take a point for the obstruction, then you got to keep letting him. You stop the fight. Let him have his position back. You penalized the guy. You know what I mean? Like
Montague fight, that was crazy. Gets in the face by fucking Luana Carolina in the second round, and then start them back up on their feet with no point.
I was on Montague by submission.
What? Oh my goodness. Right? That was just like some of the stuff that was happening in the Land Down Under, but we swept under the rug.
You got to go. You got Dana White Contender Series tonight. Shout out to Cody Kabanchak. What a KO that was. But Dana White Contender Series, you get to Pub Sports Radio, get to your homework, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hell yeah. Shouts to everybody here at Donttap Podcast.
We're back.
We're back at it again.